So today on the menu, it's from a famous part of India called Hyderabad, and for most people when you mention the name Hyderabad, only one thing comes to mind, and that's the famous biryani. That's from Hyderabad. To make it, it can be quite complicated. So what I'm going to try and do is try and do a really simpler version, which you can do at home. Cloves, cinnamon, black peppercorns, bay leaves, green cardamoms. Of course, there are other spices that are used in this biryani, things like mace, star anise, and black cardamoms. But unfortunately, I haven't got any of those. So it's like any other house. You're not going to have all these spices. So we're going to go ahead and cook with what we have. And for the other ingredients, it will be some spices from here. Well, we'll mainly be using, obviously, salt, coriander powder, jeera powder, which is cumin, and we'll use some of these guys. I haven't put them in there for when I do the rice, but we'll come to ones later. That's whole cumin. And of course, the other fresh ingredients I'll be using is fresh mint. I've got some lovely, really nice looking fresh coriander, garlic and ginger, which I'll make paste out of, and maybe just 1 or 2 green chilies. I'm gonna have to roast some of the spices. Any old pot do, so I just found this one. Okay, it's time to roast this, guys, but unfortunately cinnamon sticks I'm not gonna roast. I'll just keep them whole, as long with bay leaves, because one the reason for roasting these is that when you're eating your biryani, you don't want little bits of spices in when you're biting through your food. So therefore, the good way for that not to happen is just put all these in the pot, take it to the heat. Let the heat do its job. Just moving around, just a minute or so, and that'll be done. As you saw there, some of the black peppers are jumping about in there along with other spice. That means they're done, it's ready to come off, otherwise they'll start to burn. Okay, now that my whole spices are done, it's all jumping about in there. Turn the heat down, bring it over, put it in one of these grinding jobs, put it in. I'm so glad I bought this. This is really useful, and this is like, you know, in India people will have a big slab of stone. In Bangladesh they'll have a big slab of stone, and they'll have one of these ones like that, and they'll actually grind it like some, which is excuse me, oh, there's fumes coming from the spices. Oh, I forgot about it. Yeah, it's just absolutely wow, fantastic as I'm doing this. I was saying, back home in India and Bangladesh, people have big slab of stone, which they will grind the spices along with garlic and ginger and everything else and put in the cooking. But of course, we over here, we got one of these. If you don't have one of these, you got the blender. Put it all in, couple of seconds, it's done. And these guys here, they're big, so you'll see them, not to bite into them when you eat. Okay, here's my spices, straight in. It's still warm. And smell is absolutely divine. My garlic and ginger paste, which I've cheated by the way. I didn't make my own. Sometimes I do, but today I'm a little bit lazy. And here it goes. So yeah, apologize for that. My garlic and ginger. The chicken quantity is roughly about 800 grams. And in there, I'm gonna put roughly about 1 teaspoon salt. And about 1 full spoon of dhania powder, cumin powder, and not so much of haldi powder. Okay, and I'm just using just natural set yogurt, about 2 or 3 spoonful, about 3 tablespoonful cooking oil, 1, 2, 3. Here goes my bay leaves, which I didn't blend, and here's my cinnamon stick. Okay, now the coriander and the mint been washed. We just chop them up. It doesn't have to be too fine. And now that can be added to our rest of our marinade. Yeah, so everything's in there that I can think of. What I had is all in. Now it's time to mix it all up. Now you might be thinking the dish is a bit small for all this stuff here, but the reason is that if you marinate the spices like turmeric and all that in a plastic bowl or a marinating bowl, it will leave yellow stains in there. So either use a glass one or a ceramic one like this. So I couldn't find a big glass bowl somewhere. It's in the house somewhere. I don't know where it is. So I've got this one here. So it's now, my hands are washed. It's time to get dirty and just blend, mix it all in. Cover it over and that's that marinating done. Chicken, everything in there. And while this chicken is being marinated, ideally for about 3-4 hours, well, sorry, ideally overnight, but if not minimum 3 to 4 hours. I've got is not very good quality, purely because we stopped eating basmati rice. Now we just eat brown rice only. But for this dish, you have to have basmati rice. And as you can see, the grain is from the same packet. Look at this grain and look at that grain. The grain should be a little bit more of that color and longer. Soak the rice for about an hour or so. I'll put the oven on. It's on at roughly about 250. I'll turn it down in a minute. It's been on for about 5 minutes, and the rice has been soaking for about an hour as well. So I just put the rice on. I'm putting a small spoonful of salt. There's plenty of rice and loads of water in there, and some whole cumin, jeera. Put that in there and let that come to a boil. It's only going to take roughly about 2 minutes to cook, and then you go drain it out. And a drop of cooking oil. So the rice has been boiling in cumin, salt and a little bit of oil. Now I don't want to cook the rice fully. It's literally just about 2 minutes, and it's really dancing away nicely. And there's a saying that if you look at one rice, you can tell what's happening with the rest of them. And looking at it, it looks okay. So it's time to drain it all out. Earlier on I mentioned I'm going to make it a little bit easy to cook this biryani dish, and one of the reasons is that I'm using my cast iron casserole dish. Now some people who will cook the biryani in a normal pan, and they'll put dough around the edge and then put the lid down on it and turn the heat down low and cook on the top of the stove for however long it takes to cook. But as I've got this casserole dish really heavy, I'll put my chicken in, my rice in, and I've got the oven preheated. I'll put it in there, roughly about 20 minutes in the oven, and should be done. All the chicken in there. Get all the lovely marinated mint and spices and everything in there. Oh, it smells, wow, fantastic. Okay, now what we want to do, we want to cover the bottom of the dish with all the chicken in there like so. That's nice big chunky pieces of chicken, and on top of that we're layering it with our half-cooked rice. Okay, I'll use that. Alright, I'll put the flame up high onto maximum, and I'm putting the lid on. Like so, and I'm gonna time it roughly about 5 minutes at high flame and cook it like that. Yeah, the other dish here that you can see is nothing to do with my curry or my biryani. That's the Indian tea that's being brewed. So it's time to take it off the heat on the stove, and I'm putting in the preheated oven. Right, turn that down first. Bring it, yeah. And that's that. That's in there. That's about, well, roughly about 230. I'm just guessing. I've never cooked in this oven. So yeah, so about 230. I'm going to check it in about 20 minutes and it should be done. And this is how it looks. So you go for the chicken, It's in there somewhere. Wow, fantastic! Oh, the smell is absolutely wow. Whoa. Woohoo! There's a chicken, nice big chunky pieces of chicken. This little brown bit that you see, that's from the bottom of the pan. It should be like that, not burnt, but just slightly brown. That means it just cooked just right. I wish you could smell this. This is, wow. My mouth is just watering, just smelling and looking at it. And to eat it, I've made some raita here, which is yogurt and salad and cumin and seasoning, which I'll show you another time how to make it. So I get a little bit of that raita. I really hope you try this dish and enjoy. And thanks very much for watching this video. Please suggest my next video recipe. Thank you for watching again, and feel free to share this video, subscribe and leave a comment. You can see my previous video by clicking in the box in the bottom somewhere on the screen, and see you all soon. Thank you very much.